Hi, and welcome back to the Horror Academic. I believe this is week 5 of the Stay Home Challenge. So far, so good, right? Today we're going to look at a movie a little appropriate for the times. REC, record. So, and yeah, a little nostalgia factor. I bought this one at a Blockbuster when they closed. Here. Anyway, so this one's been coming up a lot lately. There's a lot of movies, like pandemic movies, that have been kind of hitting all the movies to watch when you're stuck at home phase right now. And this one's been on the list a lot. And I couldn't remember if I watched it, to be totally honest. I thought I had. Maybe I saw one of the sequels, or maybe I saw the remake Quarantine. But anyway, my cat's making noise. But this is a Spanish film. I knew this a minute ago and now I do not. So it is 2009? 2009. So, Spanish movie directed by Jaume Balaguerro and Paco Plaza. I hope I said those right. And yes, this is a epidemic, kind of like a Patient Zero kind of movie. So, you're following, it's found footage, and it's shaky cam, first person, perspective, POV stuff. You're with a small camera crew, a reporter and a cameraman named Paco, and they are, just doing like day in the life kind of stories. Their show is while you're sleeping, or something like that. So while you're asleep, yeah, and it's things that go on in the city while you're asleep. And I believe we're in Madrid. This particular night they're at a fire department, fire expo, and they're like following around the fire guys and hoping. They say, we don't hope something's bad in the world, but we hope that the alarm goes off and you guys have to rush into action so we can follow you and see what it's like to be a fireman out in the field. And they get their wish after a while and the alarm goes off, but it's that there's a woman trapped in her apartment and needs help. They gotta get her out of her apartment. So they pile in just 2 firemen for this one. They get the fire truck out there, and the crew walks right in. Little, altercation between some cops that are there, like, what's with this camera crew? But the camera crew is consistently persuading them their way in further. And it turns out that this woman has been sick. And you can just imagine where it goes from there. So the apartment has been this small apartment building has been put in lockdown, and they aren't allowed to leave. No one's allowed to leave. There's a little girl who's sick with the mother keeps saying it's tonsillitis. There's an older couple who are just kind of bewildered, like, I don't know what's going on. There's an Asian family of 3, 4, says there's supposedly grandpa upstairs who's too sick to get out of bed. There's the guy who he keeps saying he's an intern, and I'm not quite clear. Are you the intern? At first I thought he meant he's an intern at the hospital, because he says his job is to just simple stuff. I take blood pressure, I give shots, I don't do anything this extreme. So, but he also seems to have work for the landlords as well as an intern, so he's a useful guy to have around. So we got these 2 cops, we got the 2 firemen, the camera crew, and this kind of hodgepodge of people who live in the apartment building. And the next thing they know is that the police force outside won't let anyone out or in. And things start to ramp up. Like, everyone's like, well, what do you mean we can't get out? What's the matter? It's just some old lady. She was sick, whatever. And then that just becomes like, well, why aren't you telling us? What aren't you telling us? And the camera crew is, the reporter, she's like, film everything. People need to know what's going on in here. We have our rights are being taken away. They're not telling us anything, And so the camera crew stays on it the whole time, no matter how much people try to push them away. They're there. And they are our eyes for this experience. And so we basically watch this, what seems to be an ordinary, mundane kind of task that the fire department has to do every day. slowly ramp up and escalate and escalate and escalate to the point that everybody's just like at each other's throats and ready to go. And there's guys outside with gas masks telling them stay inside at gunpoint. It just gets intense when it slowly gets up there. So it was a great build. Because of the first person perspective, you feel as jostled as they are, and I think it does a really great job, very effective. I think this movie kind of like, it's not exactly early in the kind of found footage, first person shaky cam stuff, but I think it's very effective, and I can see why it was influential, why you saw Quarantine come out, which was essentially an American remake of the film. I was surprised though to see that there's 3 sequels, like that goes up to Rec 4. Quarantine also had sequels, so it's kind of like Paranormal Activity, how that just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and this did the same. The actors are solid. I'm always impressed in these types of films where the camera almost feels like it never leaves the subjects, right? That they can pull off special effects so well. There's some really good gore effects in here. It's not an extreme film, but the few moments are done really well, the violent moments, and the prosthetics that are needed kind of in the aftermath of people getting a bite, are really well done. There's a couple moments that they can cheat a little by saying the camera got turned off or the lights go out. I mean, there's some cuts that are obviously there, but a lot of this is very well use of, shooting continuously, that feel and that motion. I will say it had been a while since I watched a film made in this way. I was thinking about it. Aside from like watching Blair Witch, which we do every year or so, I think VHS was the last one that I watched that was shot in this style. And I don't usually have motion sickness issues, but this one I was getting a bit of a headache from the jostle. But also I was watching it on my laptop as opposed to big screen, TV, where I was maybe this far away. I was maybe only this far away. So that may have something to do with it. Could also just be I'm not used to that style of filming right now. But I mean, aside from that, I could say this was a really well done movie. They did so much with such a small cast, because aside from moments, like there's one moment where you see the whole fire department full and everybody's eating dinner, and then like glimpses of seeing outside where it seems like there's hundreds of guys outside guarding the building. Aside from those brief moments, I think the cast is only like 15 people, and they do a lot with that, and it's definitely kind of like taking the kind of like Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, this kind of trapped only core group of people, and kind of giving it a little bit more room to breathe, since you're in the entire apartment building. So it's a couple floors. It's an old style building. It's not like what we think of like an American apartment. It's each person has half a floor essentially, but so it gives you a little bit more room, which a lot of time is spent going up and down stairs. So that breaks up the activity a little bit. You're not cramped in just the hallways and things like that. So, I mean, really effective. Great use of space and time and perspective. Yeah, I wish I'd seen this sooner. It's been sitting on my shelf, obviously, since Blockbuster closed, and that was a while ago. Probably around the time I bought this, actually, to be honest. But, yeah, I'm sorry. So 2009 for this edition. It was 2007, the release. So 2007, I think by 2009 the sequel was already out, or the American version. So 2007, Spanish film, REC. This is a great found footage, zombie, epidemic, contagion, that little category, subgenre that we're living in these days. But this is a great one. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.